Steek jou aan, diep in jou bors, my kind, jy sal hom vind. Ons baie brand uit mekaar, daar waar die stof bly staan, onder die wilde maan, daar waar die stof bly staan, spook jou spore saans.
So, hi Norra, and welcome to the Diverse Creative Podcast. How are you?
I'm well. Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. And you are in Cape Town at the moment. I'm in the sunshine-filled KZN. You guys have had an abnormal amount of rain, and we have had none at all.
Well, we should send some your way, and there's more coming.
Yes. Please, I'm desperate. Like, my farm is barren. I've never seen it this dry. And I know Cape Town's having the opposite problem. I know you guys have been experiencing insane flooding down there. Yeah, so for my international audience who doesn't necessarily know the geography of South Africa, Cape Town and KZN are actually very far apart. I think it takes about 18 or 22 hours if you were to drive from KZN to Cape Town. So it's quite a distance, and South Africa is a very big country. A lot of sort of European countries would be pretty cool to South Africa. So yeah, we come from very, very diverse different places. And obviously there's like 11 different languages, multiple different cultures and tribes and people who originate from all over the place. And this obviously affects our music, it affects the sound that this country creates, and it's why we have such a diverse musical sort of base in our country, which we're really lucky for. And I mean, I know having listened to your music, you're bilingual, you sing English, you sing Afrikaans. I'm assuming Afrikaans is your first language?
Yes, well, I would say my mother and father most speak Afrikaans, so yes. However, in terms of school, yes, my mother tongue, but in terms of school and all of that, I've mostly been doing that in English, so fully bilingual, yeah.
And how do you feel as a bilingual artist in this country? Like, I know the Afrikaans music scene is actually really specific, very special in this country, very well supported. How do you find it as a musician who sings in Afrikaans? Like, how do you find that particular genre, Afrikaans music and culture?
This is a great question. It's something I often think of, because my Afrikaans singing and Afrikaans writing and Afrikaans voice, I feel it comes from a very different place than compared to my English singing and where it comes from in terms of writing. These two languages, it's not necessarily like that, but to me, there's like a division in terms of creating, because the languages are so different in terms of the sounds that you create with the language. To me, it feels like it comes from a different place in my body. I don't know if that makes any sense, but when I am writing in English and when I'm writing, it's almost like two different personas. So Norra has been performing and writing in English as well, but recently, since the beginning of the year, I've started splitting the English and Afrikaans and started a new project to kind of allow the English voice or persona to flourish and then the Afrikaans persona to flourish, because why not have more musical projects? Why not?
Nice.
Why not?
Nice. So do you have
Why
a
not
different
have more and more?
so do you have a different name for that other project, or are you going still by Nora? How are you signifying the difference between those two entities, you know?
Yes, so this is more of a band setup. I work with Yaku Hanekom in this project, The Velvet Sunset. And it kind of happened because we entered to play at Up the Creek, and I entered with Norra, and Norra didn't make it, and my didn't make the cut, and my buddies made the cut, and I was like, I'm going to Up the Creek, y'all. And I said, well, we entered with Afrikaans material. Let's make up a new name, like right now, and enter with some of our English material and see what happens, because I really wanted to go to Up the Creek. And we did that, just made up a name real quick. Okay, let's this name, this, that, let's make an email. And we just made this new band and we played our first show at Up the Creek. It was so cool.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's determination for you. That's a way to find a way around a no. I love that so much.
Yeah, and we had a Joel. It was so cool, so amazing, and the Up the Creek team was just fantastic. Yeah, I would make up another band to go and play there again.
Well, that's speaking highly of the festival, which is super cool. But it's also showing, I suppose, that there is a place for the Afrikaans music and there is a place for the English music that you create, and it shows the difference between them. You know, it's not like one is just a different language of the same thing. It's distinctly a different vibe, a different sound, and a different piece of who you are coming across through those languages and the personas you feel connected to in each of those, which is super cool.
Yeah. I've had people come to me with, different perspectives on that, saying that, why are you creating another project? There are a lot of bands and a lot of artists, they write both in English, both in Afrikaans. But I think it's a preference for me because I feel it comes from a different place. It's almost like I step on stage with a different persona. And I want to, just perform and do my thing in alignment with that. So to each their own, I guess.
Absolutely. But I mean, I've also chatted a lot about sort of a brand identity that us as artists have had to learn to create. You know, we kind of are used to creating a stage persona. Like you said, you step on stage with a specific persona around the songs that you're creating and the stories that you're telling, but that affects the look and feel of your stage act. That affects, how you dress, how your band looks, who you play with, what sounds you're creating. So I think it is a really important thing, actually, especially if you feel like there's so distinctly two different pieces of who you are, to really have a character for each of them and be able to fully envelop yourself in those characters in the moment. That's a really amazing thing to be able to recognize in yourself.
Yes, definitely. And I do have a lot of fun with that in terms of the two brands now and seeing it as brands and working with, the brand colors, the brand voice. And it is a lot of fun. And I'm so lucky to work with Yaku Hanekom. And he's just game for everything. When we have a content creation day, I'm like, okay, we're doing this. Okay, we're putting this couch in the leaves outdoor and outside in the garden, and he's just like, okay, let's do it. So I'm so happy to work with him and creating all of these divisions and just having fun with the two brands. But then again, once we are on stage or something, and I have a feeling like, okay, we said we're going to do this, but now there's a strong feeling to do this.
Mm.
That just goes out the door, and we go with what's happening presently as well. So I'm quite open to that, not creating too much like we have to do it like this. It's nice for me to have a kind of a template, but then once something pops up, organically, like we're gonna go with that. And as I said, I'm happy to work with another creative, such a talented musician that is also just keen to hop on that and to have fun together. And to me, it feels like playing music. And I'm so happy that when I step on stage or when we step into the rehearsal room, we play. Like the emphasis on playing, working, but playing.
But
Yeah.
there's fun involved, right? And there's definitely that
Yeah.
energy translates into the music. And I also think it is so important to be able to be responsive, especially in a stage performance. It's different when you're recording stuff, but like in a stage show, to be responsive to what your audience is giving back to you, there's that feedback loop that kind of goes on. And when you get a vibe about how an audience is responding or what they're going through, and you can respond to that organically, it creates for a much more personal show, right? It's not just this generic thing that you've preordained is going to be like this. The audience then becomes part of that show, which is it's the best part of it, really. And it's such an effective way to be a live performer. You have to give and take.
Yes, I'm just laughing because, like you say, we have this plan. We kind of know where the breaks are, where we're going to have some convo with the audience, when we're going to tell a kind of a story. But to be honest, we never follow that to a T. We just, it happens in the moments, those moments where you engage with the audience and it feels organic, it feels real, it's beautiful, and that's what we live for. Some artists, I think, they feel very at home in the studio and that is their happy place, their safe space. And I think for me, and if I can speak for Yaku, for us, well, for me at least, my happy place is on stage and having that audience engagement and the building up the energy to go on stage and share it and take people on a journey with that energy and it's also they are taking you on a journey as well, and that is, to me, that's where the beauty and where the love lies.
I really think it is such a special space to be in, actually. And people who aren't performers, who don't get on stage, don't necessarily know what a magical place that can be, right? Especially if you are having that kind of free flow interaction with your audience. And I know for myself, when I was a solo performer, or when I still do occasionally perform solo, kind of go in with no plan. I have like a vague idea of what set I want to play, but I pick and choose as I feel, and I kind of like throw things out because I don't feel like they fit right now, and I pull something else in. But when I'm playing with my band, they've said to me over the years, dear God, please, can we have a set list? Like, let's just have at least an idea of a set list. And I'm like, okay, cool, guys. So um, I've had to sort of try to structure myself a little more. And then I still find myself like dropping this song and moving it over here in the set and pulling this one up to here. And I find myself under my breath kind of going like, sorry, guys, just go with it. And I think it is such an important thing when you're working with other musicians to have that sort of, I think, deeper understanding of each other and like really good friendships and relationships and connections so that you can just flow like that. And you know each other well enough to say that they're going to get this, they're going to jump on board. And like you saying there that you think you can speak for Yucky, you probably can, you know. You should know each other well enough. I mean, you're on stage together and people don't realize how much um, trust that involves, I think.
A lot, yes, a lot of trust and reading each other, and you kind of have to be in tune with each other's energy. It's it's a beautiful thing. It's us musicians stepping on stage, performing together, sharing that energy. It's intimate. It's intimate, creative partnership that you form with these people, and yes, you know each other in a very unique, special way. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. But I can relate with you stepping on stage without a plan. I'm usually with a plan, but I used to perform solo for years, where I didn't work with a band regularly, maybe now and then, and it was a big change when I started working with Yaku permanently. He's like, okay, we need structure in the songs, where when you're a solo performer, you're like, oh, I'm vibing with the song. I'm gonna just do the chorus again, and I feel like making up a verse. So then you
You
just
just
go
go
with
with
it
it.
in the moment. You're like, yes, this is what yes, this is what I feel. Or you're like, oh, no one is vibing with the song right now. I'm gonna end it before the last chorus. Or, you do whatever you feel. But when you are working with people, you need to have that structure. And it was challenging implementing that and getting used to it. But now I do have appreciation for that. Having the moments where okay, there's a break, we're going to stop, we're going to fall in again, and that also really elevates the song and the performance. So I've gotten used to operating like that as well. Yes.
I think it is such a different thing playing with the band. There are moments these days where I go and play a solo show and realize that there's an element of intimacy that I miss about those solo performances. That when I'm with a band, it's
Mm.
more of a show, more of like this is me with this band, we're all dressed up, this is what we do, this is a curated theatrical entity that we're bringing to you. Whereas when it's me on my own and I'm just, barefoot with my guitar and I'm just kind of having this conversation, it's really just me and the audience in that moment. And it feels like a very different thing. Even if I'm singing the same songs, the songs feel so different. And it's not just because they don't have a drum and an electric guitar lead that comes in there. And it's not just the musical difference in the songs, but there's an energy that feels so different about those two performances that they really feel like two different entities. And like I said, I think there's times now where I realize the importance of solo performance too, where
Ah,
I've started to do more of that again, even though I love playing with my band because it's really nice to feel like you can fill that sound space, like you've got all that backup on stage to create the whole sound that you hear in your head. But I've realized the importance of those solo shows again. How do you find that experience? Like, do you still perform solo a lot, or is it just like mostly band nowadays?
mostly band nowadays, but I was solo for so many years. Having, now and then playing with percussionists, a few shows, and they move on. Um, but then I started playing with a band. We were a three-piece for a while, and I got really into that and really I just loved playing with a band, and I didn't want to play solo anymore. I think I kind of had enough of that because I did it for so long, feeling a little bit lonely, going alone to every gig. But now the combination is so nice.
Mhm.
I play solo shows every now and then, maybe every second month or so. There's a solo show that pops up, and it's exactly like you describe it. Carrying yourself and experiencing the songs in a different way because it's just you. Um, and yeah, ex exactly like you said, that when you only have yourself to rely on, you can enjoy the quiet moments between chords, between you can just flow with what's happening with you. There's no one else you need to listen to or check in with. That of course has its place, and it is also something I highly enjoy. But like you said, the combination of the two now, switching between the one where you're performing and it's a show and you have to be in tune with everyone and check in with everyone energetically, where you are solo. I'm just vibing on my own, and I could be in my kitchen playing my songs. And that's the beautiful thing, what I realized about being on stage on your own. Um, when I first started playing and performing solo with Norra, I was living in Vietnam, and I have a background in acting and performing on stage, but not playing my own music for audiences. And it was very different stepping on stage, being like, this is something I wrote. It feels vulnerable. You're not playing a character. It's just you sharing your diary entries, basically. And it was so scary. It was so scary. Wow. And it took me so many years, I would say 10 years of performing as Nora, where I started feeling like I feel like I'm understanding the psychology or the vibe of live performance. It's like the beauty lies in people having a peak at what you create, and I started seeing the stage as like, this is my living room. I am jamming in my living room as I would, and people here, they have a chance to kind of engage with that and see that. Like the painting you've made in your living room, taking that to the art gallery and people, see that creation you made in private. And I started playing with that idea as well, just shifting my perception in that way. And it's kind of fun doing that. Um, and but also every show requires something different. If you feel, okay, this perception is not working so well for the
Mm.
show, I think we got to step into performance mode now. Let's step into
Yeah.
that. So there's so much to play with in terms of live performance. And what Yaku and I love and enjoy is really also curating every show, being like, okay, we're playing a show at this venue. This is kind of the vibe. Okay, how are we going to connect with that? And that's also what we really love.
Think that's really such a beautiful way to kind of describe the journey of getting to know the stage and getting familiar with playing your own music. And like you said, it's like sharing your diary entries. It is a very vulnerable thing. It is terrifying. And as a performer who chose to get on stage specifically to share my own songs, I didn't get on stage necessarily just to be up there playing an instrument or just to be seen by people on a stage. So I didn't go into it with this mind frame of, oh, I'm going to have to play X amount of covers to please people. I went into it with this kind of intention that I have this creative energy in me. I have this desire to write songs. I've been writing all my life, and I have to share them somehow. They've got to get out of me and get into the world and be with people. And so when I got on stage, it was really like, this is how I'm choosing to do it. I'm choosing to be vulnerable. I'm choosing to share what I have to give. And I found that that is actually a very challenging thing as a working musician to hold on to. Because I don't know, I mean, I don't know what it's like in Vietnam. I don't know what it's like in other countries, particularly, but here in South Africa, there's a very large push to play what is familiar to people, to play the covers, to please what you think the crowd wants to hear, or what an event organizer thinks the crowd wants to hear, which obviously may not be accurate. I mean, if you don't give people all the options, how are they supposed to know? Maybe they're going to love your original stuff and they've never had the
Yeah.
chance to hear it, right? And if you don't give it to them, they'll never know. So, how do you find that? And how do you sort of maintain balance and integrity around creating and sharing your own music in this industry in South Africa?
Yes, that's a very good point. And I definitely share your feelings on that. I just try to make space for it. Try to um, choose gigs and also make gigs. If I feel, well, we haven't played a proper Norra show where we just play Norra music in a while. So we got to find that. We got to make that happen. And making your own little show, house concerts, that kind of thing. And it is a lot of work, but when you do put it in, the reward is amazing. And when people show up and they engage and they love it, they love it. And
Mm.
I think there's really a big space for house concerts in this country, for people to have that unique experience. I think the challenge is always marketing, getting the
Yeah.
people to go there. But once people are at the event, you can just see they're having a beautiful time. But it's the same. Vietnam was it was much easier to
Okay.
focus on your own material, and they create a lot of space for that, and they love it. They love it. Afrikaans music, English music. They're really open to that. And I found the same um, during my brief visits to Europe, that people are open to hearing music that's unique, that's unknown, that's not even their own language. They really appreciate it. And
Mm.
it's a little bit different in South Africa, in the mainstream, definitely. Um, when it comes to covers, playing those crowd pleasers, Jaco and I try to make the songs our own best we can. Um, Adding harmonica to a song that has no harmonica, pop song, creating a folk version of a song that's popular that people will know, but we find ways to still get that creativity out of it, squeeze
Mm.
something out of it so we can feel satisfied. Yes, definitely.
A
So I guess
rendition more
we
than a
try to
cover,
make
really.
it work. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I think it is really interesting that you've mentioned how you found that there was more sort of receptiveness in Vietnam and in Europe to original content. And I don't know whether that comes from it being a country that maybe has more of a solid root in folk music and storytelling, and in how that was used very solidly as a way to pass down stories and traditions and
Mm.
experiences. Um, and we don't necessarily have that as much here in South Africa. Um, I'm not sure whether that's the case or whether it's just that it's been happening there and there's been a scene there for so long that they've kind of worked through their desire for generic and they want something new and fresh. But I really like to hear that that is the case, that there is spaces in the world where original music and people playing their own honest creativity for other people is still really genuinely wanted and appreciated. And I think I certainly find that when I'm trying to market my recorded work, if I'm marketing it here in South Africa, it is incredibly challenging to get it played as much as it is played in Europe. I find it a lot easier to get my recorded works played on radio stations in Europe and in the UK versus here in South Africa. Um, and that for me is such a bizarre thing. Like I feel like we're on home soil. There should be some homegrown shows that want to support and encourage homegrown talent and homegrown creation and give it a place to be heard and give it a space where people know that's going to happen. I can find homegrown talent here on this show. Um, so I think there is like a ripple effect into what we hear on radio stations and what we hear sort of in our day-to-day lives. And I feel like South Africans, we should be proud of that identity that we have that's told through our music today. We should be like really going like, yes, this is us, and we're making new things and we're changing and we're not stuck playing that same song that was played in the 90s and in the early 2000s. So I'm really hoping that that can grow. The more of us like yourself and me who kind of hold to that and be like, no, we've got some new stuff to bring you guys. Um,
Yes.
and I mean, on the note of new stuff, you have released towards the end of last year and throughout last year, you were releasing some new songs. You released some music videos, which are really cool, very cool music videos. Do you want to tell me a little bit about those?
Oh, yes, sure. Yes, last year I think I released three songs. Yes. And the music videos, my favorite to have basically produced and organized was definitely the first single, the music video for the first single, Spook. And we shot that at the Patsagat Cool Bay. It's past Gordons Bay. Really my favorite beach in the country. I haven't seen all of the beaches, the favorite beach so far. And it's really isolated. It's so gorgeous. So the main thing there was I wanted to showcase the beauty of South Africa. I wanted the beach and the ocean and the mountains to almost have its own role in the music video, and I think that worked well with the whole theme of traveling over the sea, traveling overseas back home to find my healing. And so the sea really had a big role in this music video, and I loved doing all of it. Deciding on costumes, deciding on shots. I was really hands-on working with the videographer for that project and loved it absolutely. The other music videos that followed were more DIY, which was also an awesome experience. And for Dance, we did a lot of jump cuts,
It was a very fun
which was
music video
fun.
to watch as well.
Yeah, yes, and I enjoyed learning how to do editing to do that one. That was a lot of fun. So there's always some skills that come with it, and it was funny working with the guys because they were so shy doing all of this in public. And yes, I sometimes struggled getting the cuts because they would get as distracted with people and kind of shy or like wave at someone. I'm like, we're doing a music video, guys. Like,
Stop it.
stop waving. Yes. So that was a lot of fun, really. And uh, working with producers for the first time. So the songs that were released, I think in order, Spook, Dance, Meer Mijn Sister, and Soetsomer. Or for Soetsomer, I worked with this wonderful photographer, Nadia. And wow, she was just such a treat to work with. We had so much fun. It was a Monday morning, and we just made at 10 a.m. at different locations around Cape Town. We ended up at the beach. It's really, we didn't have a concrete plan. We just kind of went with what we were feeling in the moment, had some locations in mind, and we had a blast. So it's always funny how things don't exactly turn out how you plan, but it's
Mm.
always a wonderful surprise. And I think within the past 2 years, I've really learned that and learned to accept that in the creative process, where you come with an idea, you come with a base plan, but what happens at the end might be something completely different. And to accept that creative journey and not trying to force something into a box. So
Yeah, because
that
often
was
what you get out
wonderful.
the other side is far more magical than you would have expected it to be or envisioned it to be, because you don't know what someone else's creativity can add to yours. But it is a really amazing thing. And I do agree with you completely that when you're working with the right people, sometimes what they bring to your idea and your creativity just helps it blossom. It really helps it open up to another level that you couldn't have seen on your own. And that's such a special thing. And I do think it shows like in the music videos and in the sort of images around the songs that you were putting out. It really is beautiful, magical, and like the music video for Dance was a lot of fun. So you can tell your guys that it was well worth it. It's a lot of fun to watch. Um, and yeah, I think that it's also it gave me, when I was looking at it as someone who's new to your music, a really nice diverse little sound clip of the kinds of music you create. And it was really a nice little journey to work through those songs and to watch the videos and to get to know you that way. So now you're going to be performing this year at Galpalooza. And are you performing as a solo? Are you performing with your band? Where is the show? Give me a bit of information so that people can now go and check out these music videos, listen to your sound, and then actually go and watch you live.
Yes, go and check it out. Um, yes, this is my second year where I will be we're playing at the Galpalooza. So I'm super excited to be part of the lineup again. So we're playing at Daisy Jones on the
Nice.
9th of August. And wow, what an amazing lineup. We've got, if I can remember now, Maggie is on, Vernoon Maggie. Maggie is on the lineup, the Besties. We have a few more, Belinda and Amy band. So I'm just really stoked to be a part of that lineup as well. And everyone on the lineup, some of the people I know and I have performed with, some I have, gone to their shows. But to me, and this was the same last year, the the highlights of being on the Galpalooza lineup is the day
Mm.
of the performance. It's a vibe. It's a real vibe. And I saw this last year when I flew up to Pretoria to be a part of it. Um, yes, we'll be at Daisy Jones. Yes, it's like a late morning event going all the way to the evening. Gorgeous venue. It's in the vineyards. just outside Stellenbosch. So views for days as well. And then I will be performing with Yaku. So we'll be performing as a duo, which just brings a lot of excitement to the stage. Yaku is a very talented multi-instrumentalist, and he has been rubbing off on me, which I'm very glad about. So I've also been adding some percussion elements and playing the harmonica, and so we really create a little bit of a big band feel between the two of us, which is very exciting. And I think playing at Galpalooza will be the second time this year we play a proper Norra set. So we are really excited to put together a special show for Galpalooza, really curated for that community to go with the vibe and the message.
That's amazing. So if anyone wants to get tickets, they can head across to the Galpalooza website and they can get tickets there, I'm sure. And there will, I assume, be tickets for sale at the door as well. So Women's Day, Daisy Jones, outside in the vineyards at Stellenbosch sounds absolutely amazing. I really wish I could be there. That is the show I wish I could be at, but maybe in years to come. However, tell me where people can find you if they want to check out your music between now and then, if they want to go and follow you and support what you're doing and get a taste test of what it might be like to hear a Norra show, where can they find you?
Oh yeah, well, on all the socials, Norra Musiek, and in Afrikaans, Norra Musiek. All the socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the places. And yes, I would definitely recommend going and checking out some music videos. Really, especially
Definitely.
Spook, which really showcases the South African beauty.
Yeah, it's a beautiful music video. It really is, and definitely does showcase the beauty of South Africa. But it's a beautiful song, and your guitar work on that song is really beautiful. And there's a small piece of sort of almost fingerpicked stuff that you've got in between the choruses and the verses, and a really magical feel to that song. So I definitely recommend people go and check it out and follow what you're doing. Good luck with the Galpalooza show, Norra. I hope you and Yaku have an amazing time. And please send me a video clip, seeing as I'm not going to be able to be there in person. Please, I want to see some of your set. So that would be fantastic if you could share some of that with me after the fact.
Yes, thank you, Dawn, and thank you for the awesome chat. It was really
Such
great.
a pleasure. Yeah, it's been a wonderful conversation. And I hope you have a really lovely rest of your day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Met 'n siel